See, Pakistan have been experimental always, and India used to do that for a long time till a few years back. This particular tournament, they have made it very clear. The coaches, the team management have made it very clear that they want to groom the juniors. Uh, the coach is on record saying that we haven't really done anything great in the last one decade, last 10 years. We haven't qualified for the last two Olympics. It's been 8 years. So if that's what's the result is going to be with the senior team, with players who've got 150 or 200 caps, then we might as well try the juniors, because even if we do not qualify, at least these guys will get some experience. That is the main premise behind these guys getting the juniors. And honestly, this is a junior team because almost 10 from this squad were part of the Junior Asia Cup recently, which Pakistan lost to India in the finals. They were runner up. So it's a junior team, yes. And while their captain Umar Gutta has about 200 caps, he completed his 200th match here in during this tournament in the Asian Champions Trophy. Others all put together in the squad have a total cap of 224. They had before the match started. Now, if you compare it with India, Akashdeep Singh alone had 228 caps before the tournament started. It's not like we do not have the youngsters. We have them. We have the likes of Karthi. We have someone like Sukhjeet in the team. We have someone like Shamsher also in the team. But it's a mix where the seniors and juniors have been put together, and that's how India has been playing for quite a few years now, trying to find a balance between the seniors and the juniors, trying to experiment with the junior players in tournaments which are not very important, especially the Pro League. The Pro League has been a big testing ground for the team for trying out the youngsters and giving them a chance to play at the highest level. So that ways, yes, India are a better balanced side. India are a more focused side, and I would say a more settled side. For Pakistan, this is about a learning process. This is clearly a learning process. It's about giving their players experience. It's about giving them a chance to play against some good quality opposition in Asia at least, and prepare them for the tougher matches ahead. The team management has also made it very clear that a large part of this squad is going to be there at the Asian Games as well. So, in that respect, yes, the players, for them, it's a very important tournament because they now know what they'll be up against at the senior level at the Asian Games. And purely in terms of taking lessons away from this tournament, I think Pakistan will definitely take back a lot more than any other team, in fact. The last time Pakistan came here, national team, it was in 2007. Came to Chennai, not India. Chennai, it was in 2007, and the teams were at par at that time. Even though India won that Asia Cup final, it's not like there was much difference between the two sides. In fact, neither of the two sides was the top Asian side at that moment. That tag belonged to Korea, who were far more fitter, far stronger, far more fast, and a lot more settled. They were also a lot more skillful. So that Korean team was way ahead of both India and Pakistan. We all know what happened a year after that, 2008. We did not qualify for the Olympics. We did not play there. Then there was the whole sting operation, which led to the Indian Hockey Federation being suspended and then disbanded, and then Hockey India being formed in 2010 under a lot of pressure and guidance from the FIH, because the World Cup was threatened to be taken away from us, and then they had to form an ad hoc committee, and then Hockey India was formed. All those things did affect India's preparations, but the thing is that after that, Indian hockey took off to a different level, and I guess it's how you react to disasters or setbacks that really matters. Because after that, and this is something that the Pakistanis also acknowledge, that the Indian hockey and Indian Federation and the Indian government actually woke up after the whole 2008 disaster of not qualifying. And then from 2010 onwards, the whole administration changed. Mr. Narendra Batra came in, and personally, I feel that for all the flaws and the drawbacks that the man might have, and a lot of people do have a long list of a long litany of issues with him, but I think he was instrumental a lot in taking Indian hockey to where it is now, in terms of bringing in modern facilities, in terms of bringing in technology, in terms of not cringing, or in terms of bringing spending money, whether it was from the government, whether it was from the private sector, whether it was he had to use his own resources or his own contacts and everything. He did make a lot of difference. He did bring in a touch of modernity, because till then, I still remember when in 2010 we had a Spanish coach called Jose Brasa, and he had asked for GPS monitoring systems for players uh, to assess their fitness levels. And I remember a lot of people in authority, the first question was, GPS is used to navigate on the maps. Why do you need that for players? So from there to coming to a stage now where they have roped in a mental conditioning expert and using the latest training facilities, Indian hockey has come a long way, and a large part of the credit does go to Hockey India, all the officials, in fact, and the government, because they accepted the demands. They were logical demands, but then again, till then, no one had actually heard about all these things. So, yes, the changes were made. It was a painful growth. 2012, we did qualify for Olympics and finished last, which, if anything, was perhaps a lot more painful than not qualifying at all. So, and then from there, from 2012 to 2021, in 9 years, to go from 12th to 3rd, it takes a lot of effort. And money is a huge part. Pakistan hockey has been struggling with funds. When the Pro League was first launched, they were among the initial teams who were invited to join the Pro League. And if the team had participated over the last 3-4 seasons of Pro League, their hockey might have improved a lot, and in terms of rankings also. But they had to pull out because they needed an investment of approximately 8 or 9 crores for the entire season to travel and everything. And Pakistan Hockey Federation did not have that money, and they could not get anything from the government itself. So they had to pull out of Pro League. That just gives you an idea of how financially cash strapped they have been. And it's not really changed, because after every few tournaments, there are reports that come from Pakistan where the team has to request and crowdfund for its travel, and some business group or some businessman has to step in at the last moment to fund their travel. And that is the state. There's no employment left. The domestic hockey is not very active back in Pakistan as well. There are no jobs for people. PSUs and private sector has stopped recruiting players from hockey in general and sports in general. So things are bad, and I think it just comes down to administrative clarity and finances. And it's a sad state, but that's where it is. See, there have been many, but I honestly, the one thing that I think both players from both sides also accept was one of the best matches ever was Champions Trophy in 2003. Three, I guess, yes. When India were trailing 3-0, and then they came back to win 7-4, where Jugraj Singh first came into the spotlight as the next star of Indian hockey. And that was a young bunch. It was almost the entire 2001 Junior World Cup winning squad that had graduated almost 7 or 8 of that team were from the junior squad. So they had been playing together. There was a camaraderie, there was a comfort level, and there was an understanding between players, which honestly I find very difficult. I find very rare, even in a lot of top teams now, because it's got a lot more professional. That was an older generation where your teammates were your friends, and you hang out after the match. You play hard, play hard, and you party harder. You play together, you train together, and then you hang out together after the practice and matches also. So that was a bunch that really was like family together. And that particular game, even the Pakistanis admit, was something that they never expected from the Indians, because till then the aggression part was always reserved for the Pakistanis. The Indians were aggressive, they would get into altercations, but the whole idea of do or die was something that was always a lot more in the Pakistanis. They did have an edge, and that match kind of turned it around, where a new generation of Indian players had come up who didn't really care for history or reputations or even the India-Pak rivalry. For them, it was all about winning for the country, and and if it was Pakistan, it only made it sweeter. So that one match was perhaps the turning point, and even though things did not really go India's way for a long time after that, that match, even today, I think, even if you ask the generation now, if you ask them, I think that one match always gives them hope that you can turn it around even against the strongest opponents. I think somewhere at the back of the mind, you can't take away the fact that it's an India-Pakistan game. But just like it's in cricket, and in cricket, in fact, it's a lot closer, because the Pakistan cricket team does get to play a lot. So whether it's not with India, that's a different issue. But other than that, the players do get to play around the world in leagues, and teams do travel to Pakistan in the last few years. So they do get that exposure. The Pakistan hockey team does not get that. They barely play matches because teams are not willing to go and play in Pakistan. They do not have the resources to go out and play in other tournaments. And the calendar is such that it's a lot of tournaments and four team events and 5 nation events that happen across the world all the time, and Pakistan finds itself out of that loop. So in that sense, yes, it's sad that they don't get to play that much, but eventually it's India Pakistan, and I guess because they do not get to play that much, the feeling of wanting to win is a lot more desperate in the Pakistanis. For the Indians, yes, it's always there. The matches are special. They always try to do that little extra on the field. But at the same time, in the last few years, they have matured. You never know which Indian team turns up, obviously. But yes, in general, they have matured a lot. They do realize that when you're competing with the likes of Germany or Holland or Australia at the top, or Belgium at the top, then it does not really behove them to start comparing themselves to Pakistan. India is ranked 4th in the world right now. Pakistan 17th. It was 17th before this tournament started. They've climbed to 16th now. So you're 4th, they're 16th. It doesn't really make much sense for India to make it an emotional issue. I know it sounds a bit too practical, and India-Pakistan games are anything but practical. But yes, in the last few years, we have seen the Indian team get out of the whole Indo-Pak emotional tangle and try to focus on the game as just another game, which has helped the Indian team actually to move on. And perhaps that is the reason why India's won 12 of their past 14 meetings.